Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really interesting. It's a viral video that grabs you right away with this super personal, kind of controversial question. But here's the twist. We're going to see that the most fascinating thing isn't the answer they give. It's all about how they ask the question in the first place. Okay, so let's just start with the title of the video itself. Now, a question like that, it's really designed to make you stop scrolling, right? It's totally provocative, it's deeply personal, and boom. It immediately kicks off a debate in your head. It hooks you because it's asking you to judge, not just an idea, but the person who's asking. So, we're not actually here to answer that question. Nope. What we're going to do is something a little different. We're going to take this thing apart and see how it was built. We're going to look at its structure. And we'll start with exactly that, how this really blunt, controversial framing is engineered to get you invested from the absolute get-go. And to do that, we kind of have to put on our detective hats. Seriously, the only piece of evidence we've got to work with is the transcript from the video. So let's dig into the text, see what clues we can find about what's actually being argued. What is this whole thing really about? Okay, and here's where it gets pretty interesting. Buried deep in the transcript, we find just 3 keywords in English: generation, lifestyle, and quality. That's it. These are our only real clues. I mean, they hint that the conversation might be about generational gaps, or different lifestyle choices, or maybe what makes a quality partner. But you see how vague that is? It basically leaves it all up to us to fill in the gaps. All right, so let's recap. We've got this explosive title, and then we have these 3 super vague keywords. But how do they connect? What's the main argument that's supposed to tie all of this together? Well, this is the exact moment where our little investigation kind of hits a brick wall. And that brings us to the biggest question of this entire breakdown. After hooking us in with a title that powerful, what does the video actually say? Where's the justification? What's the reasoning, the evidence? What's the story they're trying to tell? And the answer is, well, there's nothing there. Nothing we can actually analyze anyway. The transcript just marks the main dialogue as untranscribed. So the entire core argument, the real substance that the title promised us, it's just gone. It's completely missing from our material. And that absence, that right there, turns out to be the most important clue we have. So, since the middle of the argument is basically a total mystery, let's jump ahead to the only other solid piece of evidence we've got: the ending. How in the world does a video that kicks off with such a loaded topic decide to end things? Well, it ends just like this, with a totally standard, super friendly, and completely normal YouTube outro. That's it. There's no final, profound thought on this big, complex topic. No summary of a tough conversation. Just a simple, cheerful goodbye. And this just perfectly shows the strategy that's going on here. I mean, look at the difference. The title implies a tone that's complex, it's controversial, maybe even divisive. But the outro we can actually see and hear, it's simple, friendly, and totally conventional. That's a massive, massive shift in tone. So here's the key takeaway, right? This source isn't just about presenting an idea. It's actually crafting an experience for you, the viewer. It pulls you in with this high-stakes, dramatic question, but then it lets you go with the safe, comfortable feeling of a familiar YouTube sign-off. The framing, the packaging, it's everything. It's literally a journey from being provoked to being pacified. And all of this leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In our world that's just flooded with content, how often does this happen? How often do we get hooked by the provocative packaging, the title, the thumbnail, while the actual complex idea in the middle is just unheard? Or maybe it was never even there to begin with. It makes you wonder, what are we really consuming when we click?